I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't.
What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. We're going to get into AEW Dynamite from February the 25th, 2026. This was a very weak episode of AEW Dynamite. The only two interesting things on this show, interesting thing number one was Swerve revealing why he attacked Kenny Omega last week and he put the AEW roster on notice. And number two was the MJF Hangman Adam Page stipulation for AEW Revolution. Spoiler alert, it's going to be Texas Death. Other than that, this show was very boring. So we kicked the show off with the Babes of Wrath. They vowed to retain their AEW Women's Tag Team Championships. And Mega Bad, they declare that they're going to win the titles. Spoiler alert, it doesn't happen. Moving on, this leads us into the first match of the night. Jon Moxley defeats El Clone in a championship eliminator match. This thing was very, very long. Oh my gosh. It went on forever and ever and ever. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's almost every single week Jon Moxley opens the show match-wise. It's like the first match that we see, right? Almost weekly at this point. It's annoying. It very much is annoying. Are we ever going to end the Death Riders as a faction? Probably not. I think the Death Riders have been going on as a faction for about 2 years. So this is basically AEW's equivalent and version of the Judgment Day. That's really what this is. So whatever, who really cares? I don't give a damn. Moving on from that, this leads us into Swerve. He comes out next. So Prince Nana, he tells Tony Schiavone and asks commentary if they think Swerve cares about getting fined $100K. So then Prince Nana introduces Swerve, who comes out with no music and a whole bunch of boos, which is great. This is very reminiscent of Tommaso Ciampa and NXT Black and Gold, so I like that. Good stuff there. So Swerve asked the Sickos if they missed him. If he missed them. He said that some of the fans didn't like what happened last week. Swerve says the announce table is more sturdy this week. Swerve says that Kenny Omega had to get his way in for the world title. Swerve asks Kenny if he's dumb because he beat him, and now he's next in line for a title shot. Swerve says that Omega challenged him as a man and a threat. There seems to be another EVP he took down that doesn't want him as their problem anymore. And then somebody heckles Swerve from the crowd. He says, "Yo, mama boy," which is hilarious. Swerve said he spent 3 years killing the Elite. Swerve talks about Hangman Adam Page, about how he regrets. And then Swerve says he chooses to live life going forward with no more regrets. Swerve looks into the camera and puts the entire AEW roster on notice. Swerve says that at any time he will clip them and that he's still the most dangerous man in AEW. So good stuff there. I like that. I like it. It seems like they're probably going to have Swerve be heel for a while, at least up until Dynasty, when he'll probably end up being a tweener, leaning more into that role. And I think this is the best version of Swerve. Heel Swerve is the best, basically. And I like it. I really do. So I expect for Swerve to probably cost Hangman his match at Revolution against MJF. And maybe they can go back to that feud, maybe. I think that would be great. But we'll have to wait and see how things play out. Moving on. So Brody King, him and Bandito, they're backstage. Brody King says that he's the most dangerous man in AEW. And then he has his match against Mark Davis later on in the night. Who cares? It seems like we're going to be on a collision course with Brody King and Swerve at some point. That's fine. That makes sense. Whether it happens on Dynamite or a collision, I don't give a fuck, if we're being honest. Moving on. This leads us into Gabe Kidd defeating Orange Cassidy. Gabe Kidd wins via the power driver. Then post-match, Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors, Hangman Adam Page 2.0, they beat up Orange Cassidy. Darby Allin shows up with a skateboard to make the save, and that was it. Who cares about this shit? This is probably going to lead to a tag team match at some point. I don't care about any of this. Moving on. So Renee Paquette is backstage with Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa. So Chris Statlander is cleared. And then next week on Dynamite, Tekla is going to defend her title against Thunder Rosa. I think they're in Texas next week, which is fine. So backstage, Renee Paquette is with Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa, who talks about her match against Tekla next week. Just speaks a whole bunch of Spanish, basically. Chris Statlander tells Thunder Rosa to be careful. It's going to be Thunder Rosa and Chris Statlander taking on the Sisters of Sin on Collision. Who cares? Renee then asks Chris Statlander why she's so concerned about Thunder Rosa being careful. But basically, Chris Statlander walks away. I don't care about any of this. Clearly, once Thunder Rosa loses next week, she's going to probably go back to Collision or even worse, Ring of Honor. I really don't care. Thunder Rosa was just literally dusted off from Tony Khan's toy chest. That's really what happened, basically. I don't care about any of this shit. Moving on. Kevin Knight defeats Mansoor. And in post-match, he gets on the mic and says that Hangman's going to wipe the floor with MJF. Kevin Knight says that he wants to be the first challenger for the world title if Hangman defeats MJF. And then Kevin Knight puts himself over and says that he's the future, the here, and the now. Okay, that's fine. Moving on. This leads us into the stipulation between MJF and Hangman Adam Page. So, MJF and Hangman, they come out. They both get good reactions. MJF heckles the crowd and makes fun of them. Throws gum on a fan, which was kind of hilarious. Kind of gross, though, but hilarious nonetheless. So MJF says that last week Hangman was brave enough last week that if he loses at Revolution, he'll never challenge for the world title. MJF says Hangman's not a historian, and he will be the second wrestler to never challenge for the title again, that being Cody Rhodes. MJF calls the fans stupid potheads, and he makes fun of them. MJF says that he found a fairer way to decide. MJF says that he has a quarter in his pocket. If it lands on tails, it'll be a Texas death match. If it lands on heads, the match will be the greatest match stipulation of all time. MJF can do whatever he wants. And if Hangman even looks at a weapon, he'll be disqualified. So MJF asks Hangman if he's a cowboy or a coward. So then Hangman gets on the mic, and he goads Max into kind of giving in to Texas Death, talking about what if he used glass to tear his body? What if he found barbed wire and tore his tongue out? If it's Texas Death, MJF doesn't stand a chance. Hangman says that he can beat MJF in any dog shit match. So then Hangman gives the coin to MJF. So MJF says that he's feeling very lucky. He flips the coin and tells Tony Schiavone to call it. It's going to be MJF. MJF's one-way no DQ match. So then MJF begins to leave. Then Hangman wants the quarter. MJF says no. Then he is heckled by Bandito, Brody King, and Jet Speed. They all come out to heckle MJF. They all throw him back into the ring. Then Tony Schiavone is on headset. Tony Khan then says it's going to be Texas Death at Revolution because MJF cheated. The coin was rigged. Basically, it was a two-sided coin, and that was it. And then the fans chant, "You fucked up," which was hilarious. So I like that. Makes perfect sense. MJF's a slimy heel, so that's good there. Like that. Part of me thinks that Hangman could win. He could win. But there's a chance that he probably won't win, right? Because it's kind of weird that if Hangman loses, he can never challenge for the title again. That makes no sense. I get where they're going with it, but it just doesn't make any long-term sense because Hangman's going to be in AEW for life. And why would he not be able to challenge for the world title? Hangman should have just said he can no longer challenge for the championship as long as MJF is champion. I think that would have made more sense if they would have gone that route. I'd be like, okay, cool. That's cool shit there, but they didn't. So it is what it is. Moving on. This leads us into the Brawling Birds. They're just yapping about some stuff. So who really cares about this? I don't. Moving on. This leads us into the Babes of Wrath defeating Megabad. Yay. Who really gives a damn about this? Moving on. This leads us into Brody King defeating Mark Davis. Didn't give a damn about this. Didn't watch it. Mark Davis looks like he has a diaper. Wrestles like he has a diaper on, which is hilarious. It's ridiculous, bro. Like, Mark Davis is just total garbage, man. He looks like a bum. Like, if I didn't know that Mark Davis was a wrestler and I saw him out in public on the street somewhere, I would be inclined to reach into my wallet and give him probably $5 to $10. I'm serious. He looks like a hobo. He really truly does. He looks like he stinks too. Not being mean. I mean, not being an asshole, but just come on, man. Like, get real. Moving on. So, post-match, Brody King comes out, gets on the mic and talks some mess to Swerve. He says that he's a man of violence and the most dangerous man in AEW is him. Brody King tells Swerve at Revolution is in his own backyard. He wants to fight Swerve. So I do like that. Good stuff there. That's great. Perfect. I figured that was going to happen anyway. And then Bandito says he wants a fight too. And then Andrade shows up. So this is going to lead to Andrade and Bandito. That's going to be fucking awesome. That's going to be great. Cool. Moving on from that. This leads us into Kyle Fletcher. He talks about, Tommaso Ciampa and how he's not going to get another shot. And Kyle is going to remain TNT champion because Sylvie's not going to go anywhere. It's now Pinky. So that's hilarious. And then Okada comes in and says that they're both champions, unlike Takeshita. And then they're going to basically team up on Collision. Okay, yay, who cares? Main event of the evening, Mile High Madness Anything Goes, FTR and the Demand versus The Rascals, Jack Perry, and the Young Bucks. I just watched the finish of this. This was just a bunch of spots and shit. Basically, the baby faces win. Who cares? So that was basically AEW Dynamite in a nutshell. Pretty basic and pretty boring. Again, I like what they're doing with Swerve. I like that. And I like what they're doing with MJF and Hangman. I still think they're probably going to end up having MJF retain at Revolution. I don't know how. It's probably going to be via Swerve getting involved, basically. And that's how MJF will go about winning, basically. So, yeah. But other than that, this show was boring for the most part. But what did you guys think of Dynamite?